Yes, welcome to the lighter side of the dark side. Welcome to the lighter side of the dark side. It's your Thursday night freak show. We're here live at the Nerdist Studios. Apparently, Russell Brand was here in the other room doing a show, but
Heard that.
who cares about him? We got Dangerous D in the studio.
Yeah.
Dangerous D and the birthday girl herself, Hannah Bakk.
There we go. Happy birthday.
And I am Dark Mark, the goth comedian. Hannah, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Hello, everybody out there.
Yeah, we got to figure out something because Josie had her thing and then Nicole had her thing, and you don't have a thing yet.
I don't have a thing.
Yeah.
No, we need to think of something.
Yeah, we got. There's a few things that we got to. I mean, everybody loves Hannah. I got a lot of great feedback from last week's show, the last 3 shows.
Yeah.
So everything's good, and you are the birthday girl, and you're doing so well that we have sponsors again.
Yay!
We have sponsors again.
How about that?
We need more. Come on.
And by the way, if you were tuning in to see Justice Howard, unfortunately, there was a scheduling conflict. She could not be here. Do go to her website, justicehoward.com. Check out her pictures, and right on cue. Oh, okay, she's not here yet. Okay, so she's by the Hannah. This is one of the co-hosting duties.
Mm-hmm.
You may have to get her other guest, Toni.
No problem.
So she says she's out by the boxing, which I don't know what that means. Hannah is going to get you.
I'm going to roll out.
She's outside boxing?
She's outside boxing?
She's fighting people outside.
Kicking some ass.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let me go break this
curse
fight
on
up.
this, right? We can
Right.
curse.
Oh, please, we encourage profanity.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh.
Ass, fuck, cunt,
Yeah.
cock. Sorry, how do you say
Although,
that? It's
I
like
think first show back, my friend's like, he had his son who adores me watch the show, and then there were a couple slip-ups. So he's probably watching it again, and sorry about that, Jack.
My bad.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. While Tony's we're going to get Toni. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we are live. Okay. While we get Toni. Okay.
Just gonna break up the boxing in the parking lot.
Yeah, I don't know. While we're getting Toni, I do have to say, Audible.com is sponsoring us again.
Nice.
Audible.com.
Right
Big time. Audible.com is sponsoring us again. Audible is you can get every book on there.
Right.
You know, just whatever you like. Actually, they have Tiffany Haddish's biography, Black Unicorn. That's on there.
Right. Actually, I can't remember the last time we were on the show together. You mentioned a book and I got it from there. I can't remember. I think it had something to do with sideshow.
Did you use our link?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
It was the one that you sent to me. I was like, damn.
And you listened to that on the road?
Yes, I did.
And it was a good book, huh?
Yes, it was awesome. Actually, it kind of like opened it up a little bit because I'm like, it's very rare that I can sit down and like do that like have the time to pick up and leave off. Sometimes I'm like running around doing whatever to really like focus on it. I'm usually one of these dudes where like before I go to bed, even if I'm up to like 6 o'clock in the morning, running around doing shows. At the end of the night, I sit down, I smoke a little bit, and I have to like watch a movie or like watch something, you know. And now I'm like on the thing where I'm like, all right, yeah, well, I don't really have to watch it. I can just kind of listen to shit. You know, I can do it.
Odd that you would have trouble concentrating. That's such a surprise.
What was that? Huh?
Yes, that's a dangerous thing. But they got Hillary Clinton's book. She narrates it. It's called What Happened or What Went Wrong. Listen to that if you're into politics, and if you know the 50 Shades of Grey movie's coming out. If you want to get into that S&M and weird stuff, but you don't want to see that book lying around your house, you just listen to it. Look who's here! Look who's here!
Welcome.
Have a seat. This is our other guest, Toni Taylor, wonderful comedian, very funny, and also I gotta give a shout out to Bobby Buck behind the camera. And you know Bobby. I didn't know whether to give you some wine or get you some cranberry juice, so I got you both.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
It's gonna be that kind of party.
It's gonna be that kind of party.
I'm gonna stick my dick in the mashed potatoes.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Yes. Mantan Moreland just walked in the room. I actually finally got somebody got me a CD of like old Laugh records.
Yeah.
And I actually got to hear the original where that came from.
Oh really? I had no idea.
It's a guy called Mantan who was he was doing stuff like in the 30s,
like stand-up shit.
Yeah. He actually was considered when they replaced Shemp in the Three Stooges. they wanted him, but the studio said no.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
And then he would do these like dirty records in the '60s, like trying to do like Red Fox and Rudy Ray Moore. So that's where it comes from.
No,
He has this whole like
awesome.
long story, and I was listening to it. I was kind of getting like, I mean, it was a little drawn out. And he's like, it was a whole thing about this French girl, and she didn't know English, and for some reason there was some sort of language barrier, and then. Like then the punchline's like, I'm gonna stick my dick in somebody's potato.
Yeah.
I know that one. Hannah, we've just gone off our own tangent here.
I just
We got
randomly
off our own
walked in.
tangent.
But dicks and mashed potatoes is
Yeah.
a great
Yes,
subject.
yes. So Toni Taylor is here, and Toni Taylor is a tremendous comedian. I did a show. I'm not easily impressed by comedians. Darren, when you see other sideshow performers, they gotta be really good to impress you, right?
Absolutely.
You've
rare.
seen it all.
Very rare that I see a show and I'm like, whoa.
Even comedians, because you host.
Yeah, and actually I've been
And you're a funny guy.
co-producing
Freak Show
LA, which is majority of that is stand-up. And
Right.
It's a monthly show. Been at it for a couple of years. And
Tuesday Says Hi, and I was gonna have her on this show, but she's doing her burlesque show tonight.
Right. Well, I was gonna say we need to bridge that gap and make that.
No, we will.
Make all
It's coming.
take
Yeah.
place because that's a blast. But yeah, it's a whole newfound respect. One, a lot of people look at me and the stuff that I do, and they're like, "That's like impossible. It's so hard." The hardest thing in the world to do is stand up. Because I'm like borderline. I swear to Christ.
You're right, Tony?
Yes,
It
that's
really
true.
is one of the hardest things. So yeah, whole newfound respect, and I've seen them all, man. I've seen them come out and crush
Yeah.
that you wouldn't expect, and I've also seen them come out and flop miserably. Like I
Yeah.
never thought people actually threw shit at people on stage. Like I thought that was like like a fallacy. Like
See,
a
they don't
bad
have
thing.
to do that with you because you're already throwing shit on yourself.
Well, exactly. I was gonna say if they throw that helps the show.
Like
for
you're
me.
stapling things to yourself. You're taking weights and off your
I
earlobes.
smash it all over the place.
So yeah, Tony Hannah, I have to warn you.
Okay.
Last time Dangerous D was on the show in our old studio when we had a little more room,
Okay.
he made the and Trevor, our producer, he made the producer pass outs. How did he do that? He and fellow sideshow performer Houdini 1692
That's right.
had a tug of war over broken glass, barefoot.
They walked over.
They stood on broken glass. Now that's bad enough.
Right.
Dangerous D had hooks in his earlobes, and Houdini had fish hooks in his eyelids.
Oh.
And they
Did a
went
tug of war.
and did a tug of war.
And then the loser not only fell through onto the glass, but I ended up fucking with my homie, and I grabbed his head and like smashed it into the glass and split his whole face open.
Yeah.
And when he lifted his head up, it was just like
And he loved it.
blood everywhere. Oh, we were at a blast.
You like pain,
Oh,
clearly.
well,
Yeah.
not necessarily like it. I'm like a half an idiot, so I can just deal with it
Okay.
very easily. But this engineer, all of a sudden, like shit goes silent. We hear like,
Yeah, they're like,
What
where's
the
the end song? And they say, yeah.
engineer was out. EMT showed up.
I was gonna say, was 911
fantastic.
call?
No, they called 911. They
Yeah.
got paramedics in.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it
would
was
just
awesome.
Yeah,
freak me
that
out.
was
I
quite a
wouldn't
show.
been able to handle
I
that.
can't do eyelids
Were
or
you here?
eyeballs. No.
No, we had a different host.
I would have
Oh,
passed
okay.
out if I
Different
saw the
co-host.
eyeball
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Everything else I can handle.
Yeah.
But that brings up a question now. When did you find out that you could tolerate pain more than most people?
Man, I hear this
More than me.
question a lot, and you know what? Really, when I think back, because really, with
Well, I know you're
sideshow
getting
and
married,
what it
so
is-
you're
Right,
gonna
yeah.
experience more pain. But
Yeah, I haven't seen
experience
it.
a
This has been
lifelong.
prep up until now, right? but it was really one of those things where you look back and sideshow is something that's not just physical and you go nuts and like you hurt yourself. That's part of it. My show is a little more sideshow meets jackass, so there's a lot more just dumb shit involved.
Right.
But you really need to rehearse it. You need to know a bit. You need to, be able to have verbiage. You have to display this properly as, an actual feat, like a stunt. But I always, noticed that I was always a physical kid growing up. Loved like skateboarding, extreme, sports, martial arts, stuff like
Right.
that. And when I looked back before I got into sideshow, when I was in like middle school and high school, I was that fucking idiot that would be hanging out at a party, we'd drink, and I'd smash my head through a wall to make my friends laugh, or set something on fire, and it normally was myself. So I always kind of just did dumb shit, just like giggles for like my homies.
Right.
And then who the hell would have known it snowballed into like a fucking career? It's like,
Well-
wait a minute. So the shit I used to do back in the day that I get in trouble for and like arrested,
Right.
you're gonna pay me to do out here? Fucking all right.
you realize you went to
I'm in.
different high school parties than I did. We weren't smashing our heads against the wall.
Well, neither was anybody else at the party.
Right.
It's usually just me.
Right. So those are some interesting parties. Now, here's a story that if you guys don't know the whole biography, and I'll do it real quick. Bobby, are we still live? No. Are we gonna be live? Okay, great.
Jump on the phone. You got your phone.
All right. Well, I
Put your
guess we're gonna
phone
have to
on,
do the
flip
phone
it.
thing. Thanks, Bobby. So
Pop it on
I
the
guess
phone
we're
and
gonna have
flip
to do the phone thing. That's okay. We're gonna do the phone thing. Okay, so let me I'm just pausing to do the phone thing. As I pause, I do want to mention that we have another sponsor, Hillary'sVanity.com. They're back. They're sponsoring us. They were our first sponsor when we went to Skid Row Studios.
Nice.
All right.
And Hillary's Vanity, go to their website, everybody, because they have clothes, so the Gothic fashions for, and just, you don't have to be Gothic. There's crazy, fun dresses, corsets, umbrellas, all sorts of crazy stuff, hats, and from sizes small to 4XL.
Wow.
So since we have a range of body types in here, she can fit them all.
Okay.
And I was at the warehouse and talked to Hillary. There's some great news that I can't say. I'm sworn to secrecy, but a lot of stuff going on at Hillary's Vanity. So go to Hillary'sVanity.com. Now we're going to start the video again. So here we go. I'm going to do this.
Some technical difficulties. Are we actually live now?
We're
All the people can see us now.
We're actually live now. Okay,
God
you can't turn your show when you're live. So I'm going to do this thing again. So I wish I would have known. I would have done the laptop. Here we go. That's Dangerous D. That's Toni Taylor. And that's
Hannah Bakk.
Hannah Bakk, my co-host. Hannah Bakk's the co-host. It's her birthday.
Happy
When is your actual
birthday!
birthday? Tomorrow?
It's actually Saturday,
Saturday.
but we're doing the party tomorrow with the rainbow.
Yes.
Saturday.
So, yeah.
Aquarius.
It's not your birthday yet. It's like birthday
Yeah.
week.
It's
Yeah,
birthday week,
right.
yes.
Yeah.
You got to celebrate all month.
So,
That's right.
So you're all invited to the Rainbow tomorrow night,
Yes,
I think.
yeah.
I don't know.
And
Maybe you
there's
just met everybody, but
Band
I think
upstairs
so.
playing. Yeah.
And I'll be there, and
Yeah.
and we may have some gifts for you later on.
You should show the people watching your pretty face because you're the host of
Yeah.
the show.
Well,
Everybody.
I'm still trying to
You
get.
got all
I'm
done
still trying to
up.
reconnect. This is gonna be ridiculous. Anyway, so
Reconnect.
the audio is gonna be good.
Give that to Bobo so he
Nah,
could
it's-
do his thing here.
That's whatever. That's all right.
You're gonna
Bobby,
need
if
your
you could
hands
just sort
free.
of, if it'll go back on and off, and people will bitch about it and say, okay, it's great. I haven't figured out the video in the room and our old studio. The video's all taken care of,
Yeah.
so I haven't figured it out. So here's the whole story about Dangerous D. In a nutshell, we talked about before. Grew up in Baltimore, and you were one of the few white people in the neighborhood, and you were running into walls. So everybody thought all white people were like you,
Pretty much.
and then you developed kind of a jackass act, was doing stuff on the internet, and then you sort of became more of a sideshow performer. You moved to L.A. and you've been killing it in L.A.
Yeah,
I
things
mean,
have been unfrickin' believable, honestly.
this is not the first time Hannah's seen you. It took her like all week, but then today she's like, oh wait, I went to Knotfest, which
It was
is
that guy.
Slipknot, the heavy metal band, has a festival.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, I tried to staple him, but he wouldn't let. I couldn't get to
Yeah.
him.
Blackest of the black too. I was like trying to
That was because all
Yeah.
my security.
Oh, you were at the Danzig Blackest of the Black,
well,
another
basically,
heavy metal
right,
festival.
I do my own solo show
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Like literally, even like little kid parties, all the way to like triple X rated
scare 'em to
bachelorette
death?
parties. I try to cut out. I try to cut out the cursing and wear prettier makeup, but
No, last time I saw you was at Scare LA,
but,
the horror festival.
But yeah, so I do my solo acts, just my own set. But I also recently have developed the Dangerous D Shock Show, which I have about 100 performers under that umbrella.
Right.
Everything from little people to bearded ladies, the whole deal. And we do huge festivals,
Right.
Ozfest, Knotfest, Sabroso, Music, Warped to like huge events.
Right.
And it's gotten insane, man. It's gotten gnarly. And we've really met like all my heroes, done the whole deal, and I never thought that I would actually be making a living running a fucking circus.
And you are.
Yeah.
And you are.
It's
It's
legit,
it's the craziest circus.
Yeah.
Because I last time except for Scare LA when I saw you and you were doing your show, I hadn't seen you in a couple of years, and you're just blowing up. You're in every festival.
Nice.
You're there.
Yeah. I just got contracts.
And you
with
never
the
need
right
another
people.
host because you could bar because
Exactly.
I'm available.
Exactly.
I need the money, but that's
Right,
okay.
right. Well,
I'd
we're
like
gonna
to
start
hang out
bringing
with
you in. Now
Slipknot.
that you're back, we're gonna start bringing you
All right,
in.
we'll figure it out.
You got that, baby, for sure.
We'll figure
for
it out.
sure.
We'll figure it out. You might want to think about Tony now. Tony, I saw you. I was at the A to Z. I hope this is on because I know Daryl's gonna be pissed if it's not. I was at a show a couple weeks ago,
Yes.
the A to Z
The
comedy tour,
That's right.
which they put me on the poster and billed me as Dark Dave. And
Yes,
Who's
I
that?
get that all the time.
yeah,
too.
it was
that?
like they had my picture, Dark Dave. So
they messed up.
yeah, well they didn't mess up with the headliners because you and who was the headliner? There was
There's
the last guy.
Dexter. Okay, so the last guy was Keith.
Keith.
Look around.
Keith Morris, Keith Morris. I'm sorry, the name escaped me.
Yeah.
Who's been on in Wayans Brothers movies, and he's great.
Yes.
So it was one of these shows that started off, and I hate to say it, but it started off
Slow.
very slow. It started off, and it just got funnier and funnier as it went along. I was in the middle, and I think I kind of jolted it up a little bit. And
I loved your act.
Yeah, and then it just kept going. And then
Yeah.
I saw Toni. I was watching. I was admiring. I was telling the other comics. I was like, she's just setting it up and knocking it down. Now you've been doing it. You have to have been doing this for a while.
I appreciate that.
Have you?
I have. I've been doing this for about, let's see, my son, like almost 19 years.
Wow.
But I work like a 9 to 5, so. It's a nightlife, so it's kind of like, a lot of people, when they see me, they know I haven't just began.
Yes. Because
they can see my style, but then they're like, well, who the hell are you? Where have you been?
Exactly.
You're not new. So it's kind of one of those, like, catch-22, like, they're like, I loved it. They're like, but where have you been? I haven't seen you.
That's exactly the reaction I had, because I thought I go way back myself, and I've never seen you.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed. I gotta
get out more, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you really do. But you gotta
nobody's
follow.
Gonna knock on my door. Excuse me, Toni.
Well, actually, now I might. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No, but you gotta follow. You had a whole it was like a whole
I had my crew.
Sex in the City gaggle of girls with you, and they were all like.
Crew there. I did. Yeah, like I had a hype man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm hyping.
Girls trip. I'm sorry. They had a whole like girls.
Get a girls trip. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a whole girls trip. I'm sorry.
Yeah, which we love.
10 years old. Oh, she's great.
Oh,
yeah.
my God, it's fantastic.
Yeah, get her book on audible.com.
Oh, I already got it. I already got it, and I read it in 2 days.
Yeah?
Freaking 2 days. It was freaking hilarious.
Now, if you were to write a book, what would it be called?
Oh, that's a good question. I just told my girlfriend, I'm like, I got to write a fucking book. Because I got some stories.
Oh, please, do tell.
Well, 19 years doing what you're doing.
Let me make sure my daughter's not on the line. No, I got some stories. Yeah, we do. Actually, my girlfriend and I, we take a girls' trip to Jamaica.
Wow, really?
Stella gets her groove back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we go back to Ocho Rios, and we almost go like every other year, pretty much.
Really? Do you get your groove back every year?
I do.
Oh, really?
I do.
Why do you come back?
I got kids. I got to be responsible for. But,
so you get the young Tay Diggs looking guy?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that just a movie, or do they really
No,
look like
it's the real life. This is real truth. Like, people go to Jamaica to get their groove back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe I need to take a trip.
Yeah. Hannah, do you need your groove back? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
These
I'd
Hollywood,
be all about it, but I can't.
Yeah, these Hollywood rock stars that you go to Jamaica.
You say you're in a band after 30, I'm just like, go.
Yeah,
away.
It's real. Jamaica's like real life. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're sitting with three people in show business
time.
after 30.
Yeah, but I appreciate that. No, and we had a great show. Oh, it was a great show. We're going to do another show on March 6th back at the Liquid Zoo.
Yes, and I've heard there's some. I mean, the A to Z comedy tour. It's an interesting concept. That's why I wanted to be part of it. It is a great concept,
though, right? I mean, there's nothing out there right now in regards to any reality comedy shows.
Yeah, they're kind of
how to get started, what you have to do, and
what they do is they detail the comics, they interview them on YouTube, and then you go to the show and you just see what they're all about.
Yeah.
And they interviewed all your. The funniest thing, I actually saw that YouTube clip today.
Which one?
The one, and when I saw it, I thought maybe I'm part black, because it was the one about you have to drive like 30 miles out of the way, so you can get the free parking. And
yes, yes, this is
and
true.
We all
Black folks, we
some white folks do it too.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
Because we will just keep looping around, 10 times. Okay, nope. So like today, like I'm going back and forth. I'm like, oh, okay, all the parking meters. I'm just gonna have to walk. See, I got my good tennis shoes on.
I do the same thing, and I'm that guy too. That like, even if there is a spot, I park where nobody else is near me, because I drive a Cadillac. So I'm like, if I get a ding on this thing, I will kill somebody. So I'm that guy that parks 100 miles away.
You can use that money for something else, right?
Right, you would think.
Yeah, like lunch or dinner or something,
right?
Yeah.
Or gas to get the other parking spot.
Yeah, exactly.
No, my grandmother's husband used to do a thing. It wasn't the parking, but he would drive literally 10 miles out of the way to save 5 cents on gas. He would.
Well, like, right.
That's a New York thing.
No. He lived in Buffalo, so he would go to the Indian reservation.
Like, I know I do. I waste gas looking for cheaper gas.
Yes.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, no, that's 10 cents. No. I can beat it. I know I can beat it somewhere. Maybe across town.
I'm a creature of habit. I have my gas station right before I hit the 405. I go there all the time. But I won't use my card because they'll charge you 35 cents. I'm like, cash.
Oh, Arco.
Arco,
yes.
yes.
We know who that is.
Plug in Arco.
Traffic in LA.
You know who are. Everybody's running in the studio.
I mean, like, it seemed like I was coming from, Zimbabwe trying to get here today.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to go down Fairfax. I'm like,
me too.
Fairfax is the worst.
One lane.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's horrible.
People won't let you
in.
And
when you walked into the comic book store, what'd you think?
I was like,
Russell Brand just played the showroom over there tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, he's actually out there waiting for us.
This seems like an amazing place.
Yeah, no, this is really
this is cave room and everything.
No,
this is
you
guys
should
should
future
see
comedy.
where we are. Like
this is the Nerdist School Studios.
I'm like, am I safe? No.
Right. Actually,
I don't know.
It blew my mind walking in.
Thank goodness Hannah came to get me.
Yes, it is. Yes. You're in the whitest place, and the whitest person of all came to get you. That's
right.
No, but this
Me?
is yes.
He's like, wait, you talking about me?
You're so white, you're glowing in here.
He's like, wait, hold up.
No, but it's funny because I've been telling people for years. This is kind of, and we had Ron Swallow on last week who specializes in nerd comedy and comic book references and things like that. This is kind of the future of comedy. This is where we're at the studio. It's not because there's four podcast studios.
Nice.
This is the school studio.
Okay.
In the theater they're doing an improv class.
Yes.
In this other room they're doing an improv class. There's basically everybody. The music business is done, except for maybe rap and country.
Yeah.
So anybody that would have started a punk band or an indie band or anything like that, they're doing comedy.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
This is where it is.
And with YouTube now,
yes,
to do a 10-minute cute video, he's going to make more money than like the bands and nights like Cake or bands like that. They would never be doing music now. They'd be doing comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
And even the musicians then, the girl from Sleater-Kinney, she's doing a show. So this is where it is. Everybody's doing comedy.
Damn, I wish I had more talent.
Oh, stop it! You've got plenty of talent. See, not only does he do weird stunts, which you've done, and we'll talk about that. I mean, we talked about it before, but the people staple money to you. That might happen later.
The staple guy.
I asked you if you brought your staple gun.
And my answer was, it's like my American Express card. I
You
never
never
leave
leave
home
home
without that
without
bad
it.
boy.
Oh.
That's how he makes money. Now there's different denominations now. Just a dollar
right.
just gets you the chest.
Well, the higher the bill, the more sensitive the place. That's right. And actually, I'm not afraid to drop pants. You know what I mean? $100 puts a nut sack to the leg, and you pull the trigger. Come on.
And
Liberating.
Celebrities have done this.
Oh man.
Kat Von D did this.
I was gonna say, I wish I didn't promote it as much as I do. I never thought people would actually go for it, but on a monthly basis, I get some metal through those things a couple times a month. Yeah.
So how are you able to make sure that it doesn't hit,
Well, you got to be
the balls.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to make sure you get a nice, good piece of the burlap. You know, you got.
You're that stretchy down there?
Now I am. My left side, I can wrap it around my fucking knee. Because I've been pulling that.
Wow.
As long as you get enough burlap out there and you make sure no grapes roll down in the process, you're good.
Right.
You know?
Well, if it's really cold.
well, if it's really cold, I use my other hand to block how tiny my penis is. And I just
no, but I mean, because they sort of tighten up.
Well, the worst part about it is if you're doing it outside.
So you guys would
cold,
know that skin tightens up.
It does, but the problem is once I stretch it, and
I've
the
never heard
shot,
this conversation.
Right?
Okay.
It goes through 2 layers of the nutsack and then a layer of the skin. So the problem is once it's stapled, the whole thing fucking retracts and it just fish hooks the staple and it hurts like.
And the first time I saw people getting stapled like this, both in wrestling and in sideshow, I thought it was fake. I thought there was some trick to it.
No, there really isn't. I mean, there's obviously easier ways to do it than not. Like stay in the gut, and, But at the end of the day, you're buying right off the shelf at Home Depot a fucking industrial staple gun. You're throwing staples in, and people tell me they're like, "Well, do you clean them before you do it?" And I'm like, there's actually no way. I mean, they're held together in reams by glue. They bust apart. There's dust and fragments. You just deal with it. And at the end of the day, I mean, I know it's kind of whatever, but I've seen people do this to the point where, like I said, wrestling and different sideshow stuff, because I'm able to talk a little bit, and that's my shtick when I'm on stage.
Right.
I've turned the tip. Like I've made ridiculous money having people that you wouldn't even think that would do it, stapling me because of multiple things. Because one, it's human nature for people to see somebody else like in a physically uncomfortable position. Wow. And then you want to see somebody doing something fucking weird, because if you see somebody so off, you can define yourself against that as like normal. Like, this guy's a fucking freak. I'm cool. Like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Who
have you seen that has made you think I'm normal?
No one.
I was gonna say.
No one. Not to me. It's like the opposite way of it. I think like doing the things that I do because I mean I've been on tour with circuses. You know, like I've seen like the whole thing. To me, there isn't a normal. There is no set thing. Because like I said, you see certain people like. You know, I've had
like Slipknot will go up to you like, that guy's fucked up.
Dude, the story with Kat Von D, I was doing the thing with Rob Zombie. Tommy Lee is running around. Now, he's like an idol because I love music. He's like the bad boy. You know. I come up to him, I start fucking with him. I'm like, hey, he stapled me. He's like, holy shit, you got to be kidding me. No way. So I finally convince him. Boom, he staples me. We film it. Then we go back to like the tour bus afterwards.
Well, first he probably laughed at your dick.
Well, right?
No.
Well, he didn't staple my nuts that night. Yeah. Because, you know.
He laughs at everybody's dick.
Well, I was going to say, that's all his turf at that point. I wouldn't be that dumb. But afterwards, it was funny. Like, we've been hanging out all night. He was walking around with me, getting like his homies to staple me and shit.
Right.
So then we go back to the bus. We see, Rob Zombie, and he's like, "Yo, Rob." He's like, "Where'd you find this guy? He's fucking nuts. He's crazy." And in my head, I'm like, "This is like the badass motherfucker." You know what I mean? Like, pushed all the, pushed it all, and calling me a crazy fucker. So at that point, I'm just like, "Yeah, well." Kind of accepting, like, I guess I am. I guess I am kind of fucking nuts, But to me, I've been doing it like literally just last month was 10 years, so it's like. Is the norm to me now. You know what I mean? Like, shit will pop off on the street. We'll be, in 7-Eleven. I'll be with my fiance in 7-Eleven getting freaking hot dogs, and something nut will be going down, in the street or, in the place, somebody screaming and yelling. I don't even blink an eye anymore. Like, unless you're unconscious, like twitching, covered in blood on the floor, I don't know if that guy's putting on a show, because I do that. Like, I walk into McDonald's, I pull out the staple.
But do people recognize you on the street from the shows?
Yeah, recently this past year, it's been fucking nuts. Like, my fiance could test with this. It's really everywhere we go.
How does she feel about this?
At first she was like intrigued by it. She didn't really know much about it. And the same thing, she thought a lot of it was tricks and this. Then now that she has to like not only like the other night,
nurse the wounds.
Dude, I fall asleep and she started rubbing my back and she ran over a staple that we missed. It's been sitting in my back for like 3 days.
Ow.
And pull out. She was like, "What the fuck?" So she gets worried, my safety and stuff. But she started doing fire breathing and
she's part of the show now.
And now she's a co-producer of the Big Show, and we go fucking ham, dude.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Well, I think
yeah, go to a friend's house.
My question is, what did her family think when she brought you home?
That was an issue, because my family, my family, since I was a kid, they were like, this guy's a fucking idiot. So I was there, but her parents are super conservative. They're very open-minded.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I love them. They're fantastic.
And she's fantastic.
Yeah, but they're they're conservative, and they like her father's like an accountant. You know what I mean? So like you went a different way in life. They appreciate.
No kidding.
Yeah, they appreciate what I do and can respect an art of it. You know what I mean? What it is. But every day they look at me and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's not even like the get a real job thing. It's like.
Well, if you're making money,
something
right?
else. Yeah. Well, and that's what it is. But the issue, just like anything else, there's no fucking pension plan in what I do.
Yeah.
I make one false move, I slip, I break my neck. It's the end of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I go pretty crazy. But just like with anything else, the industry we're in, being an actor, doing anything, you got to get in while you can, make your fucking millions, make bucks, bank that shit, and then just ride it out. And hopefully get involved with other stuff. I'm starting to get involved with some acting, like stunt work, some voice work. You know what I mean? I might be the guy. I think fuck it, maybe this year I'll start a band. A punk band
already? Wow!
And I'm gonna have
finally,
you're gonna play bass. I'm gonna bring all my homies in. But just keep my hands on a little bit of everything, But I've been very lucky. Everywhere I go this past year, dude, it's been like nuts. People recognize me. Like, it's always the staple guy shit too. It's like, you look really familiar. I'll get my tire changed. You look really talking about it. I had a plumber come to my house. He's fixing stuff. He's like, oh, look at this. He pulls up a picture of his son stapling me at Ozfest and shit.
Wow.
So that's been really cool.
What's worse is like, okay, the staple actually getting stapled or the removal of it, especially down there.
Down there, the removal is worse. 9 times out of 10, the removal does suck. That's worse, because sometimes they'll fish hook and they'll go over the same hole again, and like I hate when they're coming out. But
how do you get it out? Do you actually get like a staple puller? Or do you?
That's
pull
my
it out?
fiance, a bottle of liquor and her. She's my staple. I stand there like
fingernails.
Yeah, I hold my arms out and she one by one.
Fingernails or tweezers or
no, by hand. Grabs a hold of them and pulls them out. Yeah, it's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts, man.
Yeah, that's that's an interesting foreplay.
It's a whole new meaning to blood money, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's well, trust me, this is gonna be. I've been to parties at this house. This is gonna be some wedding. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be like the 1931 Freaks movie. It's gonna be great.
Right, exactly
yeah, it's gonna be
right.
like I think David Lynch is gonna direct the wedding. But
actually, I have him locked in my basement.
But Tony, speaking of acting,
Yes.
now correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be, but I was because of the last minute, I wanted to have you on. I just wanted to prepare more.
Okay.
But were you in a movie with Mack 10?
Yeah,
The
that
rapper?
was me. That
What?
was me. That was me.
I didn't know
Thicker
Mack
than
10 had a
water.
movie.
Thicker than water.
And you played his love interest?
I did.
I'm gonna watch that shit tonight.
You're
Thicker
right.
than water.
You find it
Oh,
somewhere.
I will. Oh, let me
Yeah,
tell you, it's out there,
but
girl.
no, it was. Yeah,
We'll go to a swap meet and get it. You know, whatever we
I
gotta
did.
do.
My
We'll
first,
go downtown to Santee Alley, get the bootleg DVD.
Yeah, right. It's out there somewhere. No,
right.
yeah, I had a couple of two cameo scenes in there in the movie. It was fantastic. Working alongside Mack. He's actually a really good friend of mine.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, he is, and it was great. It was, Fat Pun at the time. He's passed away.
A Big Pun.
Oh, it's a Big Pun. Big Pun. Okay,
yeah,
Big
yeah.
Pun. I'm thinking of Fat
Fat
Joe.
Joe,
Fat Joe.
Fat
I'm getting
Joe.
them all confused.
Yeah.
No, Fat Joe. Yeah, he.
Trust me, I'm up on all the rotund rappers. I know them all.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
he's
Fat
blacker
Joe,
than
Big
he looks.
Pun,
I'm
I know
telling
them
you.
all.
Fat Joe.
yeah,
He
all
was
of
in
them.
one of the scenes too with
Right.
me. But Fat Joe
That's
and the Big
what's up.
Pun, and then Ice Cube made a little special appearance. But yeah, it was
Damn.
Mack 10's first independent movie.
Is that what he's doing now? Because I
Well,
haven't
no,
heard from
he's
him in a
he's
long time.
actually producing now.
Okay.
He's mostly producing. Yeah, so he's got a couple of artists that he's producing, and he's got 1 million kids.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Now, your kids are not among them.
No, and my
Oh,
daughter's on now. I'm like, okay, Taylor, that's great. I see that she just popped on. No,
Yes.
yeah, I have a daughter. She's 4th year college.
Oh, wonderful.
Praying that she finishes next year, because mommy's up to here in school
Yes.
loans. And my son is so she's at Cal State East Bay,
It's great.
and my son is at Sacramento State. And
Wonderful.
It's his second
Wow.
year.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So
That's
no,
why-
it's
that's
great.
why-
Congratulations.
So I'm trying to get back into the acting, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for somebody to give
So how
me
did you meet
a
Mack?
big break.
How did you meet Mack 10?
Well, I met Mack 10. My mom and his mom were best friends.
Ah.
So I've been knowing him for years. Before he was Mack 10.
Right,
Mm.
right.
So you know the real guy, like
I know
you
yeah,
know.
he's nothing. He's
you
nothing.
know what's
He's
bullshit
nothing
and what's not.
Yeah. He's
Right.
nothing what you think.
Yeah.
He's a real cool, easy breezy kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
But then you put the
Good dude.
camera on him, he's like, I'm gonna cap your fucking ass. That's
Oh
all.
yeah, that's all that. What's
Yeah,
side?
yeah, that's
What's
all-
side?
yeah, that's about-
It's all that.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
that. I'm like, whatever.
I know your mama, fool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He went to Inglewood. Okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
He got a little rap from Inglewood.
Right.
Yeah.
But anything else is like.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like it's sort of past, but there was a time there you had to have that hard gangster
Oh,
thing.
absolutely. Now,
Now you don't
now
have
he's
to.
suited and booted.
You got to do it. Yeah, you got to do it.
That's where you come from. You got to start there, and successful, smart cats know how to
Yeah.
pull themselves out of that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what's up.
you can't. Yeah, when you're like 52 and you're still saying that, like, East Side and West Side, you just not happening, dude.
Yeah.
Here's my ARP card.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Bust on
exactly.
that fool.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
And boy, my rap lingo is so horrible. I'm so white tonight. It's just so bad. I'm
Who's your
trying to-
favorite rapper?
Who's my favorite rapper?
Yeah, who's
It's,
your favorite?
funny you should mention that, because somebody asked me that. I was doing a photo shoot and I was all in goth makeup, and this 16-year-old came up to me and he's like, "Can I ask you a question for my podcast?" Because everybody's doing it now.
Yeah.
And I told him, and he had no idea what I was talking about. My favorite rapper is Cool Keith.
Cool Keith.
I've
Wow.
never heard. Who's cool?
Cool
Yeah.
Keith. He was in the ultramagnetic MCs in the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
And then in
So
the 90s, he had an album, Dr. Octagon. Go on YouTube and check it out.
Okay.
And it's just crazy production. And
Wow.
his flow is weird because he doesn't even sound like he's rapping. He sounds like he's just talking. And then as you're hearing it, you're like, everything's rhyming, and it's just, but he just sounds like he's talking. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my favorite rapper.
Mine would be Biggie. I think.
Really?
Biggie and Tupac. Well.
Yeah, see, that everybody says that.
Actually, Tupac maybe.
I think Tupac's better than Biggie
Tupac.
myself.
Yeah. I'll go with Tupac. Absolutely. 'Cause just the rhymes and the poetry and the spoken word.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
it's rougher than
production,
it's harder than you would think, because
my
I've actually dabbled, tried, and like I can't do it. And trust me, there's a lot of rappers that can't do it either. But the ones that can
That are
do
trying.
Right,
the ones
right.
that can do it, it is an art form. Now Biggie, I honestly was not a fan, and I should rap my big guys. I remember somebody on a radio show said that he sounds like he's got a ham sandwich in his mouth every time he raps, and I'm kind of with that. But
Right.
Now Kendrick Lamar
Kendrick Lamar's great.
is amazing.
I mean,
who's your favorite rapper?
Man, that's like, oh, man,
and you've
so
worked with a
hard.
lot of rappers.
And actually, I was in a rap group. Believe it or not.
Really?
Dude, we got you've heard Insane Clown Posse, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We got,
You're just insane.
We got signed to Psychopathic Records for a short time. Me and my buddy had a group. We went out for like an MC contest, and we won it. And then, long story short, we got like a little deal with them, did some stuff, and hung out in the studio and recorded a little bit with them. But that's like on some whole other shit. You know what I mean? It was like one of those things where I was like, man, I'm really good at talking, and I could talk kind of fast.
Yeah.
I'm sort of funny, but I have a good voice.
Right.
So I was like, whatever I could rap about, whatever flowers and shit, and it would sound good if it's produced well. So I was like, we give it a shot. So it was just a blast writing beats and, being involved doing that, making the whole thing go down. And then so at that point, like I said, whole newfound respect for a lot of shit. And man,
it's harder than you think.
It's the hardest. Not only is it harder than you think to make that happen, like you said, it's pretty easy to do. It's hard to be very good. It's hard to stand out and get your own style and stand out in the crowd. And people have asked me this all the time, man. If I had to nail it down and say one rapper of all time is my friend, I have to say Chuck D.
Chuck D's great.
Yeah, I would have to. He just all around inclusive, just like the shit.
And it's funny because I tweeted last year, because they had another one of these top 10 rap lists, top 10 rappers of all time. It was always the same guys. Tupac, Eminem, Biggie, Jay-Z, blah, 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 blah. And I tweeted, how come Chuck D's never on these lists? Now, Chuck D actually, Chuck D, we follow each other on Twitter, and he really he misunderstood what I was saying. He totally flipped. He's like, man, what you talking about? I'm in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, blah, 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 blah. And everybody started like attacking me. I'm like, no, I mean, he should be on the list. And,
right.
And he said that KRS was the GOAT.
Oh, no, that's.
Well, yeah, because that's, I mean, it's like
that's
pioneering stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, I met, what the hell was it we were doing? What event? I met Chuck D. He was performing with Prophets of Rage.
Right.
And it might have been Ozfest this past year, or Knotfest. And actually, I met Be Real. I met all those guys. We were smoking, doing our thing, and he was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Chuck D was still looked young as hell too.
Oh, he looks great.
Yeah. Great shape, still down to earth.
And can still rap.
Dude, not only still rap, but everything with him.
That's the black on crack.
No, that's what I'm saying. Every time you talk to him, or you feel not liberated, but you want to just start a revolution. You know, he said 3 words.
The
to
revolution
me,
shall not be
televised.
It shall be live.
Yeah, he's, you know what I mean, the whole.
I'm going out marching. I'm gonna.
We take the photo and he puts the fist up and I walk away and I'm my girl and shit. I walk away. I'm just let's burn this mother down.
No, I can see that. Yeah.
He's fun.
Yeah, fuck Whitey. I can see it. So who's your favorite rapper, Hannah?
Oh, here we go with the white girl jokes again. I don't listen to rap. I'm strictly rock and roll.
Is there any rapper that you like?
No.
There's not one rapper that you like.
My friends call me. They're like, you're so close-minded and you're a music snob. I'm like, no, I like everything from classic
You're not even
rock.
the Beastie Boys?
No, I mean, you gotta
There's
fight for your right one with
rap
the
song
kid,
that you like?
obviously.
Ice Ice Baby something?
No, not Ice, no. Vanilla Ice, no.
Is there
no.
one rap
Vanilla
song?
Ice,
No.
all the way
that you're
back
all right, that's kind of fun at a party.
I mean, I like California Love. Growing up in Alaska, I was like, I'm gonna learn all those cities. You know.
Okay, so there you go. Tupac and Dr. Dre.
That's old school.
That's old school. Yeah, well, we're all talking old school. None of us are like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but there's a reason. There's just some great rappers. Yeah. There was. I mean, back then you really had to earn it.
Yeah, for sure.
And you had to bring it, but that's like comedy.
Right. Well, there's a reason why we're not sitting here talking about Criss Cross. You feel me? There's a reason why.
Comedy, you gotta bring it.
You gotta bring it. Well, and that was the thing about the show that we did because people were like, "Wow, what a tough crowd." I'm like, "It's not a tough crowd, but they're not gonna give you anything. You got to take it."
Oh yeah.
There's and that's the thing.
And it was an interesting. When I walked in, I had never been to the Liquid Zoo, and I'm like,
right.
Okay.
It's a dive bar.
It's a little bar. Yeah.
It's a little dive bar.
Yeah.
But what was great about it was
nice little feel.
It was all people to see the A to Z comedy tour.
Yeah.
None of the locals.
Yeah, right.
And it was. It was.
Well, maybe at the bar, huh? Was anybody?
There were a couple at the bar. Yeah. A couple of my. It was my friends and the White Comics were at the bar, but that was basically it. It was because I when I first started doing comedy, I was in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
And I would do black rooms.
Okay.
And that's how you got to step the energy up a few notches, and you got to really get to the punchline.
Yeah.
And have you? Now here's the thing. Now I was going to ask you about this. I was going to comment about this on Facebook, but I don't think I'm qualified. It was just as especially being a Caucasian comic that I am. I'm talking about race way too. Hannah's getting very.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of nasty comments.
No,
tomorrow.
Hannah's getting very uncomfortable. Hannah's getting very uncomfortable.
I didn't think so at all.
No, Hannah's getting very uncomfortable. She's like,
I didn't think so
I'm
at all.
not.
Hannah's white. No, but Phase on Love was on a radio show.
Oh.
Did you hear about this?
No.
Phase on Love is a terrific comic. He was in. He did the voice for
exactly
Baby's Kids. That's what he's
Yep.
most famous for. But I've done shows with him. He's very funny.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was throwing shade at Dave Chappelle.
He was throwing shade at
Yeah,
Dave Chappelle? Wow.
He said that first off, he said that Dave Chappelle's not funny, which is that's a matter of opinion. But what he said was white America made Dave Chappelle. He did not come up through the black rooms. And he did not pay his dues in the black clubs.
I don't know. I can't answer that. I just know, Dave is funny as hell.
Right.
I mean, the skits. I don't know if you guys have seen the last special that he did on Netflix.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
that's like
good.
where the success hits,
it's his
though.
norm.
Doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
all
the greats back in the day, like thinking like Eddie Murphy, think about Richard Pryor and cats like that. That like when somebody says to me, "Oh, what comics like?" and even Martin Lawrence, those were cats that I never listened to white comics. They were never fucking funny to me at all. You know what I mean? I never
that's
did.
the thing.
But like you said, at some point, whether they start off or not, I think once you've reached success and you can pull your ethnicity and your sense of humor to pitch to certain things. Yeah. If you can take humor like that, like almost we call it like city humor almost.
Right.
If you could take that and get stupid little regular Barbie doll rich white kids to understand that or laugh at it, you just fucking crushed it then.
Right.
You have perfect success, and I think only a few do that. You know what I mean? And the ones that really can hit any ethnicity and make those people laugh, those are the best comics.
And Martin. To me,
Martin, I think, is the most underrated comic out there.
Oh fuck,
Martin
I think he is
by
hilarious.
far.
And the reason he's underrated, honestly, he's not a good actor.
I used to date Martin.
Oh really?
Now the bar.
Damn,
Gina.
No pun intended.
Right?
Wait a second. No.
He's like
I wish you would.
favorite comic.
I wish you would have told me this before.
We only have 2 more minutes.
You couldn't get Martin up on the show.
Right.
Oh please, no. Do tell.
Do tell. Well,
I think that the next show got knocked back about 10 minutes.
So Martin, so we had a mutual friend named Ken Sagos, and Ken was in all of the Freddy Krueger movies.
Oh.
The heavy set.
Here we go.
That guy, like the only black guy.
He was in the 3 and 4, right? He was the Dream
He was in all of them.
Yeah.
And so, but I knew Ken. Ken and I were close friends. Martin had come into town, and
were you doing comedy then?
No,
okay.
I wasn't. No,
okay.
I wasn't. And he was staying with Ken, because they had just booked What's Happening Now. So you remember the What's Happening with rerun
in the 70s,
and all that, but they did a spinoff of What's Happening Now, and so.
And the less we say about that, the better.
Yeah, and so literally, I came over to visit Ken, and Martin was there, and he's, Martin's like, "What was that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just my friend," and we started dating, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
Did this inspire you to do comedy, just being with him?
You know what? No. Not on a bad tip. No, but when we went out, he was very quiet. I had never even seen his comedy when we were going out. We were just going to the movies and stuff. He was new here, so he didn't know anybody here because he was from like the Washington, D.C. area.
Right.
And so, no, I wasn't really inspired by that.
Darren's from Baltimore, so be careful.
Oh,
he's gonna get married.
Okay.
Don't use your womanly charms on him.
Exactly. Yeah, but no, I didn't know he wasn't funny. Not going out. No, going out he wasn't.
Right. No, he's introverted.
Cool,
he was saving all his material.
Exactly. I didn't know all that was in him. And then he used to perform at the Comedy Act.
Right.
With Robin Harris.
Right.
Okay, on 43rd and Degnan. And one day I think a couple of me and my girlfriends said, "Let's go check him out." And I was like, my mouth just like dropped. Like, what? This is the same dude.
And all the dirty talk and
all the characters. I was
great.
like, wow. And then at that point I said, this guy. Wow.
Amazing. Oh yeah.
And I was hanging out at the set with him when he was doing What's Happening Now all the time.
So you got to see Martin Lawrence with
I
Robin Harris.
I knew him when he was renting his furniture and with the Burbank. What is it? Rent to own?
Rent
to own.
center or something.
And by the way, Hannah, look up Robin Harris.
Okay.
And I don't know if you're aware of Robin Harris.
Baby's Kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but listen go to YouTube or listen to the stand up.
Oh,
amazing, because he was in To Do the Right Thing. He was in Jungle Fever. He was just about to hit. and then he passed away.
Died.
And
He had a heart attack.
Wow.
Like
He was like
30-something years old.
Yeah, but he looked like he's 50, so He did. He did look older than he was.
Yeah, but he was amazing, and
amazing.
he performed at the Comedy Act Theater, and he would put the spotlight on somebody. You would be so nervous to even get up because if you got up while he was up, you know, he go spotlight, and then he just talk about your ass. He'd be like, oh, look at her, look at that bird nest on top of her head. What's she doing? Popping up like toast, popping up. I mean, he would just go on.
Bernie
and
Mac
on
before
and
there was
on.
Bernie Mac.
Oh yeah.
And the thing about him, he really needs to get a better postmortem agent because Bill Hicks and Mitch Hedberg are more popular than ever, and people forgotten Robin Harris largely.
Oh,
right.
And he was one of the greatest of all time.
He was.
And Martin Lawrence to me is one of the greatest of all time.
Martin, by far, the characters, by far.
And
they're talking about bringing it back.
Right.
The Martin Show.
Okay.
They're
bringing
back
every
a lot of
90s show back.
shows.
I hope so. I've seen every single episode like 50 times.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite character?
Bro, man.
Mine is the karate
from
dude.
the fifth floor.
Mine is.
Now you dated him. Did you see any of those characters? Did you see where he got some of those?
Not one.
Right.
It was fantastic.
How long were you
when he
dating
plays
him?
that little boy?
Not long. I mean, you know, we went out a couple times, went to the movies and stuff
Right.
like that. You know, maybe a year or so. But no, I didn't see.
Oh, a year's
I
a long
told you-
time.
I told
A year
you,
is a
well,
long
but I
time.
told you, like my mouth like dropped when I saw like
Right.
what he really. I mean, it was funny.
But did you see where he was
He was,
gathering
but he
inspiration
was
for
just
his
getting
jokes?
started.
Right.
He was just getting started, and he was hanging out a lot at the theater comedy.
Right. No, Robin Harris was definitely a big
Yeah, I mean
influence
that
on him.
was his. That was like.
And
his-
back then that's
very
where all the
close
Kings of
friends, very
Comedy,
devastating.
Cedric the Entertainer, and Steve Harvey, and all those guys were around that. So
When-
that was a golden age.
When he did Do the Right Thing, that was his first big break with
Right.
Spike Lee, right?
Right.
Do the Right Thing, and I knew then. I said, oh, I can't compete with these, these hoes out here. You know?
Now was he?
I'm like, I can't compete. You know what I mean? It's
Now
like,
was he insane then? Because he seems a little
no,
insane now.
No, I'm telling you. He was very cool and calm. He didn't drink. He didn't do any of that.
He wasn't he wasn't screaming in the middle of the street.
No, power to the people. No, none of that. It wasn't until after we had stopped talking and going out or whatever, and then I kind of saw like people were telling me, Martin's kind of losing it. You know what I'm saying? I had friends that were doing movies with him at the time, like a thin line between Love and Hate. Regina King, she's a close friend of mine, and Wendy Robinson, and they were doing some stuff, and they would come to the set, and he would be wigging out.
Please bring Regina King and all your friends on here.
You know what?
I love them.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yes.
Well, Regina.
Oh yeah.
You can't catch up with her. She's
wonderful.
working.
She's always doing
She's
stuff.
working. Now she's behind the camera.
That's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. She's directing. You see her.
You should.
She did How to Get Away with Murder. She
great,
was directing Scandal last season.
Yeah, she should be able to fit you and Mack 10 and Martin Lawrence in there.
That's what I'm saying.
And I haven't seen her in quite some time. I mean, she's been really busy.
Well,
we kind of keep it.
I gotta tell you, I knew this was gonna happen. Where did the time go? Let me tell you
my
something.
God,
Wait. I can't believe it here. We're not quite done yet.
Okay,
There's two
great.
things we got to do.
Okay.
And you tell me what order we do them in. Dangerous D's going to do a stunt.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to give Hannah her
I'm
birthday
gonna be
gift.
nervous about this.
Let's do the stunt.
Let's do the
I
stunt.
want to
Oh,
do the
shit.
stunt.
All right, cool.
All right,
cool.
the stunt. What are we going to do?
I have a little bag here. We can play around. Have some
All
fun.
right. Now, do you need a
wouldn't
couple
mind-
dollar
You
bills?
wouldn't mind helping me out, right? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna do a few things. We're definitely gonna play with the staple gun. Don't worry, you're gonna help me too. You're gonna help me too. I won't hurt you. Out. So we're definitely gonna use that.
Okay.
We're gonna show you how that works. But if you have this right here, this is a. Oh my God.
And by the way, Hannah, the white people in Get Out did not say Get Out.
No.
Just so, I saw it. Yeah, just
No,
so you know.
Hannah.
Yeah.
I need the keys. I need the keys now.
Okay, now
No,
what is
I
that?
need them now.
What in the world have you got there?
Now this is an animal trap.
People to see
Now
this.
this
Don't call it a bear trap. That'd be like a really small fucking bear. But it is a real live animal trap. And
you have a animal trap in your bag.
Yes. I have a few more traps, but this is the one that's gonna be most fun. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna set this trap. We have another trap in here too that we're gonna set, and you're gonna help me out with that one if you don't mind.
Shit.
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
This is a real mousetrap.
Right.
You can see it's not being gaffed in any way. 100%.
How would I
real.
know if a mousetrap's been gaffed?
Well, I'm showing you. You can hear it. Maybe I don't
Yeah,
know.
I hear it.
Maybe it's a
Yeah, I
trick,
hear it snap.
maybe it's a joke,
Yeah.
but that's real.
Yeah.
Rich people don't know what the fuck this is, but
You're right. But
I
the
got
poor
these all
people
over,
know.
Got these all over my house, right? All right.
Yeah.
So here we go. This one we're gonna set right here, and this trap here is actually so strong and powerful. I need to step on it to set it open. But once we set it open, we're gonna have some fun with these traps, and then I'll show you what the staple gun is all about.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that is.
So this is 100% real.
Yeah.
And hopefully it won't break my bones here today.
Oh, let's hope not.
So this is what I'm gonna do.
And that's going nowhere near your nuts, I'm assuming.
No, not this one, not yet.
Okay. Oh,
It's still a little sober. This is what we're gonna do though. I'm gonna have you help me out with this, and you're gonna help me with that one. You can sit right there, and that's fine.
Okay.
But what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you hold your hand like this, right on top of that, just nice and flat, so it doesn't slide on me.
Little
I'm gonna
nails.
take my rings off, so so you don't think this is fake.
Okay.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this one here, and I'm gonna set it. And what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you hold this up against my face. So you're gonna hold this trap with your hands just like this on either side. Don't worry. Don't be scared and let go because it won't snap you no matter what, the way it's being held. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold this just like this against my face.
Okay.
And on the count of 3, I'm gonna stick my tongue in the trap, and you're gonna let go, and then I'm gonna slam my hand into this trap, and then you're gonna let go. Okay?
Okay.
And then I'm gonna scream like bloody murder.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Hold on one second. Hold on.
You gotta make sure you count to 3 nice and loud for me, though.
Okay.
All right? You guys
Both
ready?
of us?
Both of you. Don't
Okay.
hesitate.
Okay.
Don't let go.
Okay.
Don't move. You'll
You're right.
knock my teeth out. So you
Right.
hold it nice and still, okay? You got this?
Yep.
We got this?
Yes.
All right, we ready? We ready on the inside?
Hold on one second. Hold on.
Look, he's getting excited. He's like, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. You tell me when. We ready?
Ready.
Here we go.
1, 2,
2,
3. Bullet.
All right, I need somebody to help me with this one. Push hard.
He's really in pain. He's really in pain.
Push. No, okay, that's not what we're going. Who's strong? Push.
You want me to push it? You got it?
And you can see the line that penetrated across my hand. It's real, but it didn't break anything. We're not broken yet. So go ahead. You can clap. It's okay. You can clap. Go ahead. I can't.
Oh my goodness.
And we're going to show you just how much fun we actually have. Instead of getting completely naked in here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this dollar bill right here. You're going to hold this.
Okay.
And I'm going to hold this. Put your fingers through here and squeeze really hard until it clicks.
Right now?
And he's still
Don't
going
hesitate.
on.
And what you can do is put it right in the middle of his face. You ready?
This is what Hannah wanted to do at Knotfest.
Don't try this at home,
Go right in
kids.
the middle of the bill and squeeze hard. Squeeze really hard. Holy smoke. Wow, you're a bit stronger than you look.
Oh my God.
Jesus. You work in construction, don't you? You ready? Have you done this before?
No.
All right,
no.
here you go. You hold this here, and I'll hold this right in the middle of the face and squeeze nice and hard. You ready?
God.
Right in the middle. You got to squeeze till it clicks. It's real. Squeeze nice and hard. Push. Ow! I'm kidding with that. Well, look, this is the best part, though, is watching it come out. So what I need you to do is take both of your hands,
Okay.
grab a hold of either side of the bill, right next to where the staple is. Put this hand right here and pull forward.
Forward.
Pull. Aye. Oh, wow. That was actually not too bad. You see a little blood, and you see that that's real. Now it's your turn. You get to yank it out. That's always the funnest part. Don't touch that blood. You don't know where I've been. Pull out nice. Oh, there you go. There you go. And you
Oh
can
my
see,
goodness.
I'm keeping these. By the way,
Yes, you are.
Wow.
100% real. You can see that the holes have been penetrated into the
Do
skin.
not
It's
try this at
a
home.
trick, a gag, or an illusion. This is 100% real. And kids, if you've ever heard somebody tell you, stay in school,
Please do.
that shit's real. All right. Let's go shenanigans. But here we go. Let's get to it now. And
here we go.
Go ahead and give your birthday gift out, because I'm sure that's
Okay.
going to be a little
All
more
right, here's the
exciting
birthday.
than
Oh, no.
I get to staple you. That's what I want to do. And I'm just kidding.
this.
Please, whatever.
Well, thank you for playing this thing.
If we didn't have, if we weren't running out of time, we would do that. But Hannah's been so great as my co-host. This is the beginning of a wonderful 4 shows in. They've all been
Yeah.
great, haven't they?
Yeah,
They get
I'm
better
having
and
a
better and
blast.
faster and faster as they go
do.
along.
They do.
Here is my gift to you, and I have a story behind this.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Walking in the rain.
Oh, thank you.
It is a
Beautiful.
Hillary's Vanity Halloween umbrella. Open it inside.
Wow,
She's
there you
got,
go.
so it's good
It's
luck
gonna
if
be,
you do
oh,
that.
so it'll be good luck?
Yes, so
Alright.
I want, and yeah, I gotta get this picture too. Hold on 1 second.
You have your Band-Aid.
So here we go. Oh, this is so pretty.
Oh,
Oh, there you
Halloween.
go.
Oh, thank you.
It's always Halloween.
Perfect.
There you go. That's
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
Here's the story behind this.
Okay.
She sold out of those for Halloween, and people were so upset. They such a demand for Halloween. She just got those back in. So if you go to Hillary'sVanity.com, get your own Halloween umbrella. You better get them now.
That way you'll have them for Halloween.
Exactly. And I know it doesn't rain, but in the summer it gets pretty roasting, so you could use it as a parasol.
I do need it. Actually, I needed the parasol. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. Happy birthday, Hannah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you,
and where does the time go? Tony, you've been a delight. I want to have you back on.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to find out what other famous people you've dated.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh, geez, we got Martin Lawrence, possibly Mack 10, but I don't think so. Well, maybe. So we got Martin Lawrence, Mack 10.
I'll keep you in suspense on that one.
I'm just gonna invite all you guys to my shows for free now, though.
That would be great.
And when's your next big show?
So the next big show is probably it's March 6th. Maybe
March 6th at the Liquid Zoo.
Back at the Liquid Zoo.
And how do people get a hold of you or see you online?
So you can see me and check me out. Don't follow me and stalk me. But no, you can.
That's right, Martin.
Right. Facebook, Toni Taylor, and Instagram, it's Toni Taylor.
That's right.
Okay, so check me out.
That's
Follow
TONI.
me. Last night I was at the African American Film Festival, and they had it up in Hollywood. Saw all types of amazing people. Cast of Get Out.
Great.
Cast of Queen Sugar. Ava DuVernay was there. Amazing people.
Did they show the Back 10 movie?
No.
Okay.
They didn't.
They'll be showing that at my house tonight.
I didn't get my big break. Yeah, I didn't get that break.
And Darren, how do people get a hold of you, and what have you got going on?
You could, if you on any social media term, you could hashtag DangerousD, just the letter D, or you can get a hold of me at DarinMalfi. That's at Darren Malfi, but I'm everywhere. And if I even notice that you come near my page, I will stalk you.
Exactly. And Hannah?
I am Hannah Bakk 666 on Instagram. That's BAKK, not BACH.
Right. And me, Goth Comedian, on all social media, and I want to give a shout out to Bobby Buck. When's your show?
Yeah.
Oh, your show's next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
And where's that at?
At the Revive Theater in Santa Monica.
Okay,
Nice.
the Revive Theater. It's a theater in Santa Monica, and that's Bobby Buck, who was supposed to do the camera work for us, didn't do it, but he showed
But he
up
just
anyway.
actually sat in the corner.
He sat in the corner and laughed, which is good. And
go to our live laugh track.
Go to Goth Comedian on all social media, gothcomedian.com, and everybody have a wonderfully creepy
Yes,
week.
Doc Martin.
Next week,
Thank you,
Psychic
baby.
Readings by Terry Huberman and Miss Poisonous return.
Oh, great show.